Hello and welcome back to Resident Evil 4 Otome Edition. This is part 3 and we're going to be continuing where we left off of crazy adventures with us playing in the perspective of Ashley Graham in Resident Evil 4 instead of Leon and her girlish, somewhat annoying charm in a parody game which is like a visual novel and shit like that. So let's just get right bloody back into it. I huddled close to Leon again as he approached the door to the next room. I gotta remember to invite Leon to some parties, specifically parties that feature both Jenna and doors. We'd smash the door in front of Jenna's face, I take it. The room was empty of people, although someone obviously lived there, what with the dining table and wood-burning stove. The oddity of the room was the large typewriter stationed at the dining table. At first I thought maybe the owner was just a fondness for antiques. Then it occurred to me that maybe the person couldn't afford better tools. This area is painfully rural, after all. The thought saddened me. While I was chewing out a bit of the first world guilt, Leon started typing away. Baffled, I looked over his shoulder. Perhaps he has Hemingway aspirations, would explain the tenseness. Or wait, I think that was a different word and I just skipped by. As it happens, he was simply typing a record of his time and location. He also mentioned the round and mode, which didn't make any sense to me. I guess he's using the typewriter to let someone know his progress? Again, I couldn't tell if the orchestrator of this operation was extremely crafty or just plain eccentric. Probably the latter. After all, what better way to fight crazy than with better funded crazy? Oh yeah! And yet, Leon chops boxes like this. His life depends on it. Lord help us if this man ever applies his diligence to something truly destructive like extreme couponing. Extreme couponing? You know, it was one thing when the box placed in conspicuous nuke, but it feels a little wrong to destroy the boxes in people's homes. I mean, what if the box was the owner's last memory of their grandpa or something? For what it's worth, the R-crazed cultists were lucky that the box didn't actually contain Grandpa. Well, wood under the stove now. I guess I took a deep breath in preparation for it awaited us on the other side of the next door. Oh, I thought it was the devil was just gonna end. We found ourselves once again assailed by rain and darkness. All of a sudden, the relative safety of the previous room seemed worlds away. An unnervingly low vibration hung in the air, stirring in me a feeling of dread. I followed as closely behind Leon as I could without being in his way. It didn't take long for the villagers to add their shrieks and bloodlust to our carnival of horror. They crept out from the shadows, weapons in hand. To be fair, those weapons were more like farm tools, but semantics. You would think Not So Awesome Saddle would spend a little more money for his mobs to have better murdering equipment. Leon led me into a tower and started climbing up an uncomfortably tall ladder. Deciding my fear of heights was suddenly not as compelling as my fear of cultists, I followed suit. Phew, what a climb! But not a bad idea to stick to higher ground and force them into a funnel. We should be moderately safe, right? It's not like they can throw stuff this high, right? I scanned the area below for any cultists with pitching aspirations. Wait here. I froze in place, totally convinced that the cultists were growing wings, that my expiration date was as good as past. Instead, perhaps, just as crazily, Leon stoically leapt from our perch like he didn't even believe gravity or leg fractures. He says, I need to know, legs of literal steel or government implants? I squinted my eyes against the darkness, trying to watch for Leon's movements below. I wonder what his plan is. The sound of Leon's gun pierced the night. And also that cultist's face, so it's the direct approach then. I don't know if it's wise, but certainly it's manly. Leon rushed past the villager as he wailed in pain, but the darkness made it difficult to see what's going on. What the hell did I just see? Were those worms coming out of his head? Calm down, Ashley, it's gonna be... Oh, sweet baby Jesus, it's not gonna be okay. I shakily looked up and over the railing, driven by the morbid curiosity or just the need to know Leon was safe, I couldn't say. Another villager had approached him, this time holding a torch. You know, you're poor when you can't afford a knife to gunfight. Leon let a single round fly and the villager suddenly caught fire. Is this place's main export material like the spontaneous combust or what? Not content to let the fire run its course, Leon placed another bullet in the villager's leg, bringing her to her knees. I feel bad for watching this. Maybe I shouldn't. Well, damn, Leon is so cool. Leon ran back to the base of the tower and called up to me. Follow me. I don't usually like being told what to do, but for Leon, I'll make an exception. I approached the ladder and prepared to climb down. But then it occurred to me, how much longer will I have the luxury of attractive men catching me when I jump? Seems like a waste to just do the things normally. Hell yeah, that's fun. Now if only he could extricate me bridal style, but alas. Yeah, I could definitely get used to that, which means I probably shouldn't given my look so far. We ran behind the tower, down a dirt road. The whole area kind of reminded me of my great-grandmother, who had lived in a rural part of Wisconsin. Just replace ominous torches with old street lamps and brainwashed cultists and trashy druggies, otherwise pretty much the same. As if on cue, some more villagers stumbled out from the darkness, torches and shovels in hands, shouting phrases in Spanish. I'm not even going to try to pronounce it. Note to self, look up Picadillo when I get back home. Might be a fun new swear word. Man took steady aim and shot the two villagers in the knees. Tried but true, I guess. Amazingly, they were only stunned by the blow. Great-grandma's right. Rural folk are hardy. Leon briskly lowered his weapon and ran towards the villager. Rather terrified by the whole thing, I just stayed put and watched the exchange from behind my fingers. Let me guess, he's gonna do the kick. Oh, yeah! My god, he's like Chuck Norris was actually hot. He's like if Chuck Norris was actually hot, but Chuck Norris has way too much chest hair, it's kind of gross. With the peasants properly pummeled, we continued running down the path. There seemed to be a large gate at the end of the path. I could feel a surge of adrenaline in my legs as we approached. I didn't know what was on the other side, but anything had to be better than this death trap. Okay, that was a lie, because there was a lot of things that could be worse, but probably, like, what? Fucking Lord Saddle. What the fuck am I looking at? That's just fucking gross. Why did you do this, developer? Why did you... I'm gonna have to add this as a thumbnail. If there's gonna be part 3, and I'm gonna have to cut part 2 and 3 in half because it's taking a lot longer than I thought, then this is gonna be the 3rd thumbnail. Enjoy. Fucking Lord Saddle. Oh god, don't zoom in. No, bad brain. No one would ever want to ride that saddle. No, don't do it! No! Stop it, please! Seriously, no, for my own good, too. A collision with Leon's shapely back muscles thrust me back into reality before I could dwell any longer on a much more awesome saddle. What? I was happy to bump into him, but not so enthused about stopping in the middle of the hell country. I was about to ask what the big deal was, but I figured nagging at this juncture wasn't a good way to endear myself. Oh, another cultist with a torch. Poor thing is unarmed and unoriginal. Oh, look at him, dodging out of the way. Yeah, that worked out as well as I expected. And the abstract, I felt sorry for the man. What kind of person was he? What were his dreams? We left the last line of defense guy to his final moments of agony and rushed onward towards the gate, being sure to avoid bear traps along the way. Apparently, if you can't stop people with torches, tetanus is the next best thing. Said that in reverse. We passed through the wooden gate into what looked like a small ranch. I was trying to give Leon a little more space so as to avoid bumping into him. Although touching his back was like finger porn, I didn't want to crowd him. Well, you're going to go in that dumpster, I know that for a fact. I remember that village even by my own playthrough of Resident Evil 4, like fucking, what, 10 years ago? Before we ventured too far, Leon stopped abruptly at a waste bin. My initial thought was that the mission coordinates had stored more of his supplies in the garbage. It certainly wouldn't have been surprising. Ashley, get in! Wait, what? He seriously wants me to climb in the waste bin? Every fiber of my mildly hygienic body resisted the request, but he hadn't led me astray up to this point, so I hopped in without question. I held my breath as I closed the lid above me. As I leaned down, I was surprised to realize the bin was completely empty of garbage. Either rural Spain was really good has pretty good sanitation management, or the villagers were too busy being crazy to throw their trash away. Although it didn't change the fact that the only handsome man around had just ordered me to sit in a musty waste bin in a rural Europe with a parasite roaming around my guts. Part of me felt severely frustrated, but Leon was an easy man to forgive. I shifted uncomfortably in the dumpster. Now that I was stationary, a flurry of aches and pains screamed out for my attention. Angered by the pain, I couldn't help but lash out at everything that seemed responsible for my predicament. Stupid Krauser, stupid Saddle, stupid cultist, stupid Jenna, stupid government class, stupid dad for cutting my bodyguard allowance just 'cause of that one time. What, you sleep with your bodyguard? Probably. I took a deep breath and sighed. Focus, Ashley. Think happy thoughts. Ashley, I'm coming for you, Ashley. Oh bueno. I shook the admittedly glorious image of Leon's sculpted, seductive visage from my mind. But just because I'm under way more stress than usual doesn't mean I have the right to sexually objectify him. I mean, I barely know him. Okay, I'm good now. It occurred to me that amidst my fantasies Wow, you're objectifying men. If it was a woman being objectified, we'd have Anita Sarkeesian saying this game parody is fucking sexist. But since it's a guy being objectified, it's not sexist at all because you can't be sexist to men. Jesus, double standards, man. It occurred to me that amidst my fantasies that Leon might actually be in danger, or worse. Terrified by this prospect, I thought to peek out for a look, but I knew it would be just my luck that some stray cultist would walk by at the moment and see me. Instead, I placed my ear close to the wall of the bin, being careful not to get too close. I certainly didn't have enough of my shots to be touching the insides of rural cultist dumpsters. I strained my ears, listening intently to the world outside of my garbage sanctuary. I couldn't hear much at all, aside from the occasional thunder clap in the distance. That frightened me. I expected to at least hear some scuffles, but before the creeping terror of my savior's demise could ensnare my thoughts, the shrill sound of a gunshot burst into my eardrum. A somewhat morbid, but nonetheless comforting symbol of hope and salvation. Well, for me, anyway. Assured of Leon's survival, I resumed my effortful listening. I heard a few more gunshots and some muffled screaming that gave the impression of someone falling from a fair height. What kind of ass was Leon kicking out there? A series of thunderclaps prevented me from hearing any more. No sounds took their place as they faded. Though all was quiet on the Spanish front, I listened closely, my heart racing, and my eyes darting. Was Leon okay? Were the cultists gone? Could I get out of this godforsaken dumpster? Then I heard it, the sharp sound of a whistle, but not some jaunty whistle like from some that song Saddle Side was playing. It reminded me of how cartoon characters would whistle at a dog. I was nonplussed. Nonplussed? What? I've never... What word is that? I've never seen that word before. I'm gonna look it up. I was expecting it to be a French word, but apparently it's just simply nonplussed. I thought it was gonna be like, nonplussed. Like, it sounds like it would be French because it looks weird. But anyways, to say the least, but I guess it was a friendly signal. But not wanting to think too hard on the idea of being summoned like a mutt rooting around in the trash, I hastily threw open the lid of the bin and tumbled out. Thank God that's over. By the way, if I smell like rotten meat products, that's just too bad for Leon. Speaking of Leon, I scanned the area for him. It was difficult to see, but I found him by a light of stray lightning bolts standing on what seemed like a bridge connected to the farmhouse. In that moment, his golden locks seemed like the beacon of a lighthouse shining fiercely against the cold, black sea. He truly was poetry in motion. Swoon. Actually, is he aiming at something? I followed his line of sight to the tree looming above me. Oh hey, there's something blue and shiny hanging from one of the branches. And gone. Was it a priceless religious artifact or just another bizarrely planned challenge? The world may never know. Well, it doesn't seem like he's making any move to jump down and escort me over. I guess he did kill who knows how many people for my safety, so I'll cut him some slack and do some legwork. I hurried over to the farmhouse on my way. I was surprised by the lack of bodies on the ground. It seemed impossible, but so did a lot of things. Maybe the cultists are just literalists on the whole dust-to-dust concept. As I ran, I became poignantly aware of how insane all this was. People dying, and for what? Was it all for politics? And who stood to gain? One power-hungry old man? Or was this bigger than Sadler, bigger than all of us? What if this goes all the way back to Illuminati? Amidst my struggle to glimpse the machinations of this mad world, it didn't take long to reach Leon. Since it seemed like we were safe for the moment, I thought to make some quick conversation. There were certainly enough topics on my mind. I know the cultist bodies melt, but I want to see what kind of response Leon would give. Before I could open my mouth to speak, Leon turned around and began jogging away. I was a little disappointed, but in my hindsight, a rickety bridge was probably the best place to have a chat. Leon leapt from the bridge. I could see a ladder on the ground already. I'm just going to presume he kicked down because he likes catching me so much. It occurred to me that Leon could look up my skirt if he wanted, but he just stood there with some solemnity of a nun. Hopefully that means he's a gentleman and not... No, actually, don't even entertain the thought. Yep, still fun. Though I do wonder if that's good for Leon's back. There was another giant wooden gate in front of us, once again guarded by bear traps. I see the creativity has run pretty dry in these parts. Leon stepped up carefully to the traps and drew his knife. Is he really going to slash it closed? Talk about having a conservative mind. My eyes reflexively clamped shut alongside the trap. Oh, thank God, he still has his beautiful arms. With the path clear, we moved toward the gate. I hoped deep down in my heart that the next area would be less threatening to my overall health. Okay, so are we playing Leapfrog now? I know I said I like touching his back, but this seemed a little inappropriate. Oh wait, he must not think that we can just go to the gate, so he must want me to climb over. Oh, that's probably it. Go me. He could have saved us the trouble by just talking like a normal person, I swear. It's like he believes strong silent type is an actual personality. I need to think about whether that's stupidly sexy or just really stupid. For now, I'll just trust there's a reason for all this nonverbal communication. I hurriedly climbed on his back. He struggled briefly to push me up, but managed to straighten out completely, raising me several inches higher. Muscles. I reached for the top edge of the gate and hoisted myself over as quickly as I could. I wish that Leon's muscles had some sort of sharing plan. Okay. With a great effort, I pulled myself over the top of the gate and swung my legs over. I was tempted to look down at Leon from that height to see his beauty from bird's eye view, but I didn't want to hesitate, so I jumped down immediately. No one to catch me this time. You can do this, Ashley. 1, 2, 3. I hit the ground pretty hard, no doubt scuffing my boots and tearing a ligament, but I put the pain aside and looked toward the barred gate. It was difficult to see in the darkness, so I felt around with my hands. There was a large plank covering the door, but I easily pushed it up and
I opened it, Leon.
Not wanting to attract the attention of any cultist who might be out for a midnight stroll or whatever weirdos do during storms, Leon opened the door as cool and serious as ever. I happily fell behind him as we ran forward. I was surprised at how much I had missed him in that short time. It was only a minute, but it felt like a millennium. As we jogged into the next area, I hoped that this nightmarish vacation would conclude a little more quickly. Thanks for playing the demo! There we go! The demo of Resident Evil 4 Otome Edition. Pretty crazy experience so far, right? Action, adventure, abject horror, all pulled together by a little romance. If you enjoyed the demo, please leave some encouraging feedback. If you notice issues or constructive criticism... I'm getting tongue-tied today. Please tell us about those too. Look forward to those future updates. I'm not escaping Spain without your help. Yes. Click. What happens if I click? Click. It goes back to the main menu. Alright, so that was Resident Evil Otome Edition, the demo. I'm gonna have to look for you guys' opinions on whether or not I should play the full version when it comes out. I'm getting so tongue-tied. I've been too much reading, I think. I've been doing this for now like an hour. I'm just reading. So, I hope you enjoyed this different take, me reading a visual novel, Resident Evil form, so I can use the excuse that it's indie horror, even if it's a visual novel, or even if it's romance-ish in a parody form, based on the fact that it's Resident Evil. So, I hope you enjoyed. If you did, let me know if you want to, if you're interested in the full version, just let me know. And if you had any other feedbacks for the developer, let him know in the comments below. He'll probably look at this video, hopefully. And beyond all that, I hope you enjoyed. If you did, please leave a like, comment, hit that subscribe button, become a fluff subscriber. Until the next time. Cheesy. Oh yeah. Oh God. Oh.